Hey everybody, today we are talking all about staying uncomfortable and what that will do for your business. I just talked about this in my hoarse, raspy voice on one of the recent podcasts, and this topic is something that I want to continue sharing with other people because it's been so important to me. It's been so monumental for me in achieving new levels of success, pushing through horrible issues, being fearful of financial things where I feel like my world's falling apart. We just want to let you know that no matter where you're at, you're going to go through ups and downs. You can be like a new level of a high that you thought you'd never attain, and right around the corner you'll have some catastrophic challenge because the world tends to continuously produce new devils at new levels, as they say. And so for me, this idea of staying comfortable, the clothing line, just the phrase in my life is so monumental. And I wanted to go over 3 of the things that I put on my list this year that were kind of outside of business and just really talk about how important that is to continue driving me. And so for me, those 3 things, if you followed anything I do or you see my stuff on Instagram, you realize that like I've been in the last several years working with, talking more about fitness, hormone replacement therapy, everything about, leveling up myself from a fitness aspect. And personally, that's a lot just wanting to be the best version of myself. I see me being in the best shape as a part of being the best version of myself on many levels, able to have energy, able to produce at a higher level, and able to be a better father and husband because I can go and, just boundless energy. I got time for my kids. Even if I have a long day, I still got energy to do stuff. So those are reasons for me that's super, super important. And a few of the metrics that I put on my calendar for this year as goals were: 1, I wanted to do a full marathon. I did that before I had my big leg injury. 2, I wanted to do an Ironman. And 3, before the end of the year, I wanted to do some form of an ultra race, which is a race that's above marathon distance, right? So anything past like 26.2 miles is going to be an ultra. I got all this stuff scheduled and I've got it on the docket. And it's hard things that like new devils at new levels, like the major accident I had this year. That was a new devil at this new place I'm in. It's a thing that presented itself that I've got to overcome. And I feel like it has really taken a big mental change to me because it's a new thing that has shown me I've only got this much time in the world. It's very finite, and I want to try to get as much out of that as possible. I want to give as much as I can. I want to be the best dad, the best husband, the best everything I can be. And knowing like every time you have something crazy, and I hope nobody's had like near-death accidents, but I've had, this is probably my 3rd near-death thing in my life. And hopefully I can share that with you so you don't have to have that, and you can just try to take this from me. Every time that happens in your life, you're reminded how short life is. And some people want to live so carefully and not push anything to kind of stay safe. And then for me, it's made me realize that this is very limited. This is very finite. I need to be as much as I can be for the short time to be able to make the biggest contribution, because to me, a lot of my life is about inspiring people, inspiring my kids, and inspiring people to just do more and be more because they don't have long. And I want people to know their life's short and know that you've only, same thing. I want you to know what I know without having to go through what I went through. So this stay uncomfortable philosophy is about, when I talk about health, putting these metrics drive me to stay uncomfortable and push for those things that when I'm looking at them are ultimately best version of myself things. Like I see no downside into me going for a health goal as long as I don't restrict time on my family or time on the business or whatever. Going for this goal that's going to give me a reason to be better in the health arena. Or in business, this could be, hey, I'm going to get a new shop, get a commercial location, take on some big challenge, because it's going to require more of you each day because that challenge is on the radar. And that uncomfortableness, that situation, like I like how a lot of situations, and I make them in my mind this way, they're a burn the boat situation. I kind of like flip it on for this and you can't turn it off, because most of the things I've positioned myself in are, it's a 0 options mentality. You have to fucking do what you set out to do, because I don't give myself any other option. And sometimes that's mentally imposed on myself, and sometimes that's just, wow, I've got a situation where I have to make it through because everything besides through is horrible. So staying uncomfortable and getting these metrics to kind of seek areas of uncomfort have been a driving point in my life to help me compress that time and to try to get as much in one as much. That's why I'm weirdly optimistic. I'm freakishly optimistic. I assume everything will be all right, even though it's kind of a weird offset because I also assume the worst of everything at the same time. Like I prepare for a situation to be horrible, but I'm optimistic that it's going to all work out anyway. Having this and staying uncomfortable, it continues to stretch your comfort zone, right? They always talk about your comfort zone and they say, all the growth happens outside of that. Your comfort zone is like a rubber band. It stretches, and then when it releases, it's a little stretched out. So it's a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. And so this is really just a conversation to make you think, 1, your life is short. 2, you only get one swing at this. There's no trial runs. This is your run. Unless we find out something, I don't know, and probably not gonna find that out till we die anyway. This is not a trial. 3, using comfort as a guide. Like if you're seeking comfort, it's probably going to be something that slows you down, doesn't bring as much value, doesn't have as much impact, versus seeking uncomfortable situations, and situations that cause pressure are going to push you so much more, are going to build so much more in your life, and are going to drive you to new entire levels that are unbelievable. So I hope this has made this impression, and I'm not trying to sound somber, I want to share that with you, that I put this stuff on my calendar to be the best version of me. And sometimes I do stuff where we're all going to have this. We're lost in of like, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Am I the best husband? Am I the best father? Am I the best business owner? A lot of times you don't know which direction you're heading, and you got to use your gut. But having some of these things on the calendar, some of these uncomfortable situations, some of these challenges, some of these self-imposed challenges, helps you sharpen the sword, the iron, the whatever, for that next battle. Because as you overcome one, then you become stronger, then you overcome another, and then you become stronger, and you overcome another, and it gets you more and more prepared for those new levels. And I remember listening to a podcast, someone talking about like, why the fuck does anyone do ultra running? Because it's really, really long distance, 50, 60, 100 miles, 200 miles. And it was business owners talking about it. And the one business owner that was already talking about how he did it, and he's been doing it, and he's training for it. He's like, I did it because I desired to be a different person. And I know that like you're not the same person after you complete a 100-mile race. It's true. You've looked into new caves and caverns of your mind, and what can you really physically and mentally endure that some people have never found. And you can find resources in that endurance, in the enduring, that will help you in every aspect, every challenge of your life. Maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's an event, maybe it's your business, maybe it's financial, maybe it's friendship, maybe it's whatever. You're gonna find new areas in persevering that will help you in everything. So I hope this conversation has brought to light that, like I said, life is short. You don't get a trial run at this, and that like seeking some of the stuff that is extremely challenging, whatever sector it may be in, whether it's your health, whether it's a business challenge, whether it's a new thing that just scares you, seek this stuff, because the last fucking thing you're ever gonna want in your life is to have a rocking chair syndrome, be in your 90s and regret that. What would have happened if I took those chances? Because you never get that back. You never get that opportunity back. You never get that opportunity to try to make it work, to try to get through it, to try to be the best. You do get to look at all the opportunities and be like, man, it fucking burned down in flames, but at least I tried. And you can eliminate some of that regret. So share this with someone else that you know has got some big decisions that they want to put on the docket, some big challenges they want to challenge themselves with, and they're maybe a little hesitant, or just use this for a reminder for yourself that, hey, I want to stay uncomfortable because I want to grow, and all growth is in being uncomfortable. And leave in the comments, what's the last thing you've done to challenge yourself physically, mentally, business-wise, relation-wise, anything. I want to hear. Can't wait to see you guys soon.